young hero and the horrible giant. David and Goliath from 1 Samuel 17. God's people had some very scary enemies, but the Philistines were the scariest of them all. And now the Philistines had come to fight them. The Philistines had a secret weapon. His name was Goliath. Goliath was a terrifying soldier. And worst of all, he was a giant. A giant so strong and so tall and so scary that no one had ever been able to fight him and live to tell the tale. So there they were, the Philistines, standing on the top of one hill, God's people standing on the top of the other hill. And every day Goliath came out and shouted, "Send your best soldier here to fight me. If he wins, we will be your slaves, but if I win, you will be our slaves." No one spoke and no one moved. "Chickens!" Goliath bellowed. "Your God can't save you. I'll rip your heads off and have you on toast." His beady, greedy eyes glowed at them hungrily from under his horrible helmet, as if any minute he really might just gobble them all up. And he laughed, his terrible laugh. "Ha, ha, ha, ha!" It boomed, echoing horribly around and around the dry, dry valley. Well, Goliath might just as well have been a green, slimy monster with 3 heads, because God's people froze with fear. Their eyes glazed over and they turned deathly pale. They knew if someone didn't do something quick, if someone didn't save them. But God would do something. He would save them, and he would send someone to save them now. Now David was the younger son of Jesse, and his brothers were soldiers in the army. And one day, when David brought his brothers their lunches, he saw Goliath, and he saw how scared everyone was of him. "Don't be afraid," David said. "I'll fight him for you." "God will help me," David said. So the king gave David his royal armor to wear. But it was so heavy and it was too big, and David couldn't even walk in it. "I won't need this," David said. Instead, David picked out 5 smooth stones from the water. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he took his slingshot and he walked toward Goliath. Step, step, step. Ooh. Goliath walked toward David. Thud, thud, thud. "You?" Goliath peered down at the small boy. "I'm little," David shouted up to him, "but my God is great." Goliath laughed, an even more terrible laugh than usual. "Ha, ha, 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 ha!" It went. With just one swing of his giant sword, Goliath could finish the boy off. But David kept going. It isn't how strong you are or how many swords and spears that will save you. It is God who saves you. This is God's battle, and God always wins his battles. David put a stone in his sling, swung it around, and let it go. The little stone flew, whiz, like a bullet through the air, and it struck Goliath, thud, right between the eyes. Goliath stopped laughing. Goliath stumbled, and he staggered, and crash! He fell dead. And when the Philistines saw Goliath was dead, they ran away. And when God's people saw them running away, they cheered. God had saved his people. David was a hero. Many years later, God would send his people another young hero to fight for them and to save them. But this hero would fight the greatest battle the world has ever known.